in the corner and hung out for a bit.
Cried.
It was wholesome.
And what about you, Shogun? How's your evening been?
Well, I haven't had a rejuvenation opportunity, but I feel pretty excited for today, especially after yesterday where we had probably the most exciting day one we've had of any of these weeks so far. Not a single game being a 3-0 sweep, so it's been interesting.
Yeah, it has been interesting. And yesterday was definitely the most, as you say, the most competitive day we've had for a day one so far in the Universal Open. So very excited for today and what will be some heartbreaking games for some teams, because obviously we're going to be sending some teams home today from that elimination bracket. But that's obviously we want you guys to be involved as well. So use that hashtag UOS2 to get involved with this show. Send us in your tweets. Let us know your thoughts on what could happen today and tomorrow, of course. And then head over to Twitter and follow us over on Twitter using the handle @Universal Open. Now, what should we do?
What should we do?
What should we do?
I think,
do you know what we should do,
I
gentlemen?
think we
What should we do?
normally
We're going to
go
look at the
into
format. There we go. Look at the format. That's what we're going to do. Making sure these guys are on their toes. Let's have a look at the format. Remind you all of exactly how things are going to be working for the Universal Open Season 2. As you can see, we've had the East and Northeast qualifiers already. We're moving on to the Central qualifiers, where we are at the moment. The West qualifiers to come, of course, next week. And then the top 4 of those will progress through to the regional finals: Washington, New York, Chicago, and San Francisco, where the winners will be joining the top 4 from the online portion from Europe in our live grand finals. And that is, of course, on August the 24th to the 28th. And that will be coming live from Stamford, Connecticut. All very exciting stuff. Make sure, of course, that you leave those dates free so you don't miss out on any of the action. But now about today. Let's have a quick brisk bracket update and see exactly how the land lies after yesterday's action. You can see some of the teams that we've got waiting to fight it out for those qualification spots. On the right-hand side, you've got Cloud9 waiting to take on FlyQuest. Evil Geniuses waiting to take on King Doom, who took down Allegiance last night. And as you can see here in our lower bracket, Allegiance waiting to take on Vape Noise, Ducks on Quack, Heroes of Tomorrow, Soul Esports against 2v8, and then Uncharted taking on Butter Brothers. Now let's have a look at exactly the fixtures we're going to be bringing you today, because today is hopefully going to be just as exciting as yesterday. We're going to be starting off with Allegiance versus Vape Noise, Ducks on Quack taking on Heroes of Tomorrow, and then of course the results from that will determine our last 2 games. We'll have our lower bracket round 3 game and our lower bracket round 3 game 2 as well. So gentlemen, that's how we're set up for today. Starting off with Allegiance, who didn't have the strongest of starts yesterday.
Yeah, they started off really well. Took those first two games over. There we go. I got through the first part of that sentence. They took those first 2 games over King Doom, and then kind of out of nowhere, King Doom came back, outscored them something like 14-5 or something in the last 3 games, and they just ran away with it in the end.
I mean, it was quite interesting, really, because Allegiance went from, as you were saying, the most dominant team we'd seen all day to down in the lower bracket. It just sort of happened at a drop of a hat, really. So they'll be looking to try and make a bit of a run for themselves. We've seen teams that have used the lower bracket to their own advantage previously, where they've now got so many games going. Everyone else that they potentially have to play, should they make it to the lower bracket finals, they don't play until tomorrow. So they'll have at least some sort of mental advantage there, but it's all about them now not getting complacent. They've got to try and take on what's ahead of them.
Awesome things for you to keep an eye on. Of course, it's the same as always at home is our 7-11 moment. So keep an eye out for the achievement unlock, which will be presented to any player who scores 7 goals and gets 11 assists during the series. We managed to give one of those away yesterday in the first series of the day. I believe it was AJ who actually managed to take that one home.
Right, yeah.
And we also gave away another one. So we had 2 yesterday, 2 players stepping up in big ways in the series to produce the goods for their team. But another thing we should remind you guys of as well is that we have the fight against world hunger, and that's thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent. For every goal that is scored during the Universal Open Season 2, they'll be donating 10 meals to the World Food Programme USA. So if you want to get involved, of course, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. It's a fantastic cause. And I think we broke the record yesterday, didn't we? We had 107 goals, I want to say. 104,
right around 110.
Yeah, an insane amount of
there.
goals scored yesterday. Obviously, we had a lot of Game 5s, etc. yesterday. So congratulations to everyone involved with what is a fantastic cause. But let's talk a little bit more about our game number 1 then, gentlemen, because we've seen Allegiance yesterday. They've got a lot to do today, but Vape Noise we didn't see anything from. Obviously a fantastic name for these 2 players. We've got David Silvado and Leroy Jenkins.
Yes.
Probably not the original, I'm going to be honest.
Unfortunately not, because, everyone loves a good charm. But David Silvado actually played in the CRL. He played on University of North Texas. He was actually really, really good over there with those guys and that crew. So a little bit surprising not to see him playing with his teammate Alex Storm, who also played on the University of North Texas. But that's okay. We might see them again today. I think they're in the second match over on Heroes of Tomorrow, so we'll get to see them as well. But Leroy, not too much that I have to go off of him, but I do definitely look forward to see how David performs here in the Universal Open.
Now, Allegiance, yesterday, we talked about it, we sort of touched on it a little bit at the top of the show, saying they were one of our favourites, one of our picks to qualify for the regionals here, and they still, very much might be, but a very interesting match they were involved with yesterday against King Doom. Just refresh the memory for some of the people at home who might not have caught that match yesterday, Shogun.
So actually, I'm glad that you brought this up to me because I had an opportunity last night because it was doing my head in because we came out of that series and we just went, how did they lose that? What happened? And it was doing my head in for so long that I decided to go back and rewatch it. Game 2 ends, obviously at that point, Allegiance had done such a great job of controlling boost and keeping the ball in the air. That was where they dominated. They left absolutely no opportunities for King Doom to move forward. But suddenly it switched. King Doom brought it down to a more ground-based game for the most part and allowed more challenges towards the midfield, which opened up more gaps. That was something that worked much better for them. So Allegiance, I think this team against them, Vape Noise, is going to struggle a little bit more compared to King Doom when it comes to keeping up that sort of pace and keeping map control. So I think they can go back to that original plan, but should they continue to move on from here, that's a weakness now that a lot of teams are going to be looking at and just going, okay, that worked. We can keep that in our back pocket. And
we can dribble the ball.
We can dribble the ball. We know what we're doing there.
And that's a worry for them, isn't it, Chiefs? Because, it's something that was recognised after 2 games in a series and they couldn't correct it within 3 games of a series. It's definitely a sign of concern for them moving forward.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you think about post-close qualifiers, you have to move on to the regionals. And if you're struggling here in the close qualifiers, then it's going to be a very tough road even beyond this. So you got to figure out something here in the next couple of days. And obviously, it all comes down to, all right, look, they want to dribble the ball. Well, we're going to go take the ball off of them. You got to be proactive. You got to go out there and take it from them.
And do you think that's something that they'll be able to adjust maybe for today? Obviously, you went back and you rewatched it yesterday. We heard from a lot of the players that we've interviewed so far during Season 2 of the Universal Open. They like to go back and watch that film. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're hoping that Allegiance have done that and they've put that time in to adjust to that. But do you think that they would have recognised that mistake and come in today with a slightly changed mindset from yesterday?
Oh, yeah. These are world-class players. They'll have known what went wrong. They probably knew what was happening. They just couldn't quite make the changes because when you've got a team that is sort of taking away your style of play and keeping the ball grounded, it's very hard to sort of get it back. They were trying to get back to their plan A throughout the entire series. It just wasn't quite working out. I think it's all down to them maintaining the speed today and sort of slowly developing an idea as to what happened elsewhere because I don't think they're going to face another great ones player like they did yesterday. So I think they can just keep going what they were doing yesterday and it'll probably work out.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the other teams we've got left in here today. Some of the teams that we didn't see yesterday. I'm just trying to remember who we've got in our second
Heroes
game.
Heroes of
Tomorrow is one team that we didn't see yesterday. We're just waiting to get a game set up at the moment. It might be a slight problem behind the scenes with a couple of players getting in the lobby, so we'll get that to you as soon as we can. But let's talk about that team a little bit because we didn't see much of them yesterday. Sort of run us through the players on that team and what we can expect from them.
Yeah, so Heroes of Tomorrow, Alex Storm and Elaine Dodger, they've played together long time, ever since Onslaught with a couple other well-known people through the North American community. But like I mentioned earlier, Alex Storm played on UNT last season, played pretty well. But Elaine Dodger, he's kind of taken a couple of steps back from really trying to push for spots in the rival series in RLCS, and I think he's kind of just like, hey, I'm still good at this game, and I want to go give 2v2 a shot, and I think it'll be good to see Elaine Dodger back on the pitch with old teammate Alex Storm there.
So actually, whilst we do have this opportunity in this time to talk about it, I really want to speak about the play styles that we've seen so far this week, because it's been very different. Previous weeks, for teams like Upper 90 in week 1, where 1v1 styles have been very prevalent. How have you guys seen it this week? Is this sort of the same thing, or?
I don't know. That's kind of it. It doesn't feel like there's been a lot of passing plays and
there's been.
coordinated pushes.
I can't remember that many passing plays. Most passing plays have been off games already done.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely felt like can we just beat them? Try and put it high, keep it out of reach. Not necessarily passing the ball, just forcing mistakes or them not being able to react, really. I'm not sure it's really ones. It's
we figured out what the best play style is ever yesterday.
What's that?
It was Bork.
Oh, yeah.
No play style was better than just, I'm going.
It's true, though. It did upset the rhythm of the opposition. It was a strange thing to see initially, but then it was like, oh, this is actually working really nicely. And, yeah, fair play to Bork. And I just love saying Bork. I'm not going to lie. It sounds like...
it's a good word.
It's a name that suits the play style.
It's a dog that's a little bit broken, isn't it? not quite barking. But I mean, some of the playstyles we've seen have been interesting because obviously 2v2 in the competitive nature and the highest level is something that we don't see too much of in comparison to threes. So it has been interesting to watch the development of the playstyles. I mean, what do you think has been the most effective playstyle so far that we've seen?
Like throughout all the weeks?
Overall.
I think, Garrett G and JNAPS is a hard one to beat. It's kind of just,
I will argue that one against you purely because they weren't challenged.
That's fair.
Like, they could pretty much do whatever they wanted there. I can guarantee you they are not playing like that when they get to the regional finals.
Okay. The best one I think I've seen, thinking back all the weeks, that's tough. I definitely think if you've got, one competent mechanical player who can really beat anybody throughout the ground or the air, you're going to have a lot of success. So any team, like even though Garrett G and JNAPS don't take that approach, both of those players are very capable at doing that. And I think they've got the mechanical skills to back up whatever they do as well. So I think that despite them not being challenged, I still think the mechanical ability of both of them allows them so many different options. And that's the big thing in 2v2. With the removal of a defender, you have so many more options with space, what you can do with that space, and having the mechanics to create options is an incredibly valuable tool.
Okay, well, just an update for you guys at home and an update for you two as well. We're actually going to be switching games here. We're going to be starting off with Ducks on Quack taking on Heroes of Tomorrow. So a little bit of a change up to the schedule here. Obviously, just a little bit of an issue with that first game, so we'll try and get you some action as soon as we can, of course. But let's talk about Ducks on Quack, because they impressed us yesterday, didn't they?
I think pretty much every team impressed us yesterday.
That's very true. That's fair, yeah.
We came out of there, and I think we saw 7 different teams, because we did see, I believe it was FlyQuest double up between games 1 and 2. But there was no team that really came out of them which said, okay, they were really bad. But Ducks was, I mean, trust me, it has happened.
It was Alpha Kep and Rallies.
Yes.
And,
they were the team that sort of showed mechanically that they were very solid.
Yeah, they played EG
The question was, when we saw them, have they learned from their mistakes? Because we saw them within the final 30 seconds have a big opportunity to take a win. And not only, but they didn't fluff the shot, they didn't take the shots, which I consider to be a much bigger problem. So I'm hoping that they'll have learned from that, and when they come into this series, they're going to be like a little bit more, I mean, not necessarily more aggressive, but maintain the same level of aggression throughout the entire...
Just have the confidence to win the game, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, don't play a situation in the final 10 seconds different to how you would in the first 10.
It's just strange, isn't it, how pressure can do that to people? It's just so strange. As you say, that play happens in the first...
Yeah, they actually
played 4 minutes 30 of the game. It's
nail it
every single time. But last 30 seconds, it's the magic 30 seconds. Man.
And in those first couple of games, because they played EG yesterday, and that's Classics and Corrupted G. It's like we're kind of expecting them to push through onto the regionals as well. But they played them pretty well in the first couple of games. They kept the scores pretty close, and then those games 3, 4, and 5, as Corrupted G and Classics kind of figured out how to approach them on the pitch, they started getting boxed out a little bit more, but they played pretty well at the start.
I think the way we described it yesterday is that Evil Geniuses, they didn't look troubled by the series, but they were forced to play.
Exactly.
They weren't... I mean, it was the argument I just brought to you when we were talking about JNAPS and Garrett, where they sort of just did whatever they wanted. No, Evil Geniuses, they had to play proper Rocket League against them, but their version of proper Rocket League was just better.
Yeah, that was kind of the interesting thing. That was the one thing that I took away from them yesterday. They made EG play, that textbook style of play. And I think if you can force, a world-class team like Classics and Corrupted G and 2v2 to play to how you want the game to be played, that's very powerful, and I'm curious to see if they can make it through to day 3.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I also think on the flip side of that, it's a good thing for EG. I think in these tournaments, if you're tested early on, it kind of switches you on a little bit, doesn't it? Especially for the later rounds. Obviously, I think they get a day off today because they're going to be playing tomorrow. But it just means that when they get back into it tomorrow, they'll have a little bit of rhythm behind them. They'll know how to play against a better opponent because they would have been forced to play to a high level even in the previous match. But another announcement that we should talk about a little bit just before we get into our first game of the match. Sorry for the delay, by the way, guys. We'll get into it as soon as we can. Is, of course, the announcement yesterday for Season 6 of the RLCS.
Yes.
$1 million, gentlemen. $1 million. And one question for you, both of you gentlemen, is what would be your first purchase?
If I won first place in the RLCS?
No, if you came 16th. No, of course, if you won first place.
I think I would pay off my student loans.
How boring it is. Oh, my word.
So that's the first
thing.
All
right, Shogun, what would you do? Do something more irresponsible for me.
Do something more irresponsible. Yeah. I would treat you, my good friend, to a lovely steak dinner.
This is pandering.
This
This is pandering.
Stop it, you.
I've got a whole 4 games now of a nice onset.
We'll see how hungry I get. But I mean, I'm not. If you would have said pay off my student debts achieves, then you could have been in my good books.
Well, I don't know if you have any. I can't make that assumption.
Of course I do. What you saying?
What you got a degree in?
I'm just saying
What you got a degree in?
Me?
Just saying I don't know.
Geography and business. I actually have 2 degrees.
Really?
There you go. But anyway, let's get into the game. Let's stop talking about education. Let's get some education on Rocket League. Our first match of the day, as you can see on your screen, is going to be Ducks on Quack taking on Heroes of Tomorrow.
Remember, the winners of this have got to try and win another one today. They want to try and make it through, and that is going to be...
Oh, that's right.
Dodger immediately moving forward, and there was very little response there from Ducks.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think Alpha was having issues with his controller disconnecting yesterday as well, so could be the case of that again here today.
You had at least 16 hours.
You gotta go buy a new cord.
Yeah, I think Alpha's definitely got some issues over there with his controller. Alec, well, it's the honourable route so far.
I agree.
I'm not too sure I've got that in me.
It's off screen, he's yelling for no mercy. He wants no mercy.
I hope you at home can definitely pick that up.
That's so good.
Rally, going by himself for the time being. Remember, if you score any goal when it's 2v1, you basically won.
Yeah, we actually we watched Freestyle O'Clock. I think still one of our favorite moments.
This is not Freestyle O'Clock.
Oh, this is definitely not, but that was, I think, still our favorite moment so far.
Yep. Alec, Sad Junior it.
Keyboard mouse?
KBM, I guarantee, unless you keyboard already. Give it a go, lad.
Alec is
I've got
not
an arcade
KBM.
stick you can borrow.
You do.
I've got to platinum on my arcade stick, okay?
I'm actually quite impressed.
Plat 3. Can't get to diamond, though.
That's okay.
That's where I draw the line. That's where people get too good. It's my teammates, man. It's my teammates. As Alec will be following up. There's Rally with the stop. I get the feeling it's like this... You know the dog meme? It's just a fire? I think that's what's happening with Alpha's house right now.
This is fine.
It's definitely not anymore. 2-0. Heroes of Tomorrow.
I think Heroes is honestly letting each of them have turns 1v1ing, really. I think that's what's happening right now. I'm pretty sure that's it.
I mean, in terms of sportsmanship, you know, 2 thumbs up. In terms of no mercy, thumbs down. Definite thumbs down, but on a serious note here, Achieves, this is really heartbreaking right now for Ducks because they were solid yesterday. They need to find something. Alex, I hope you've got like a really nice neighbor or something that can help you out.
Oh, that went in? Wow. Doubly unfortunate. But yeah, I definitely agree. It is quite a shame to see them have such an unfortunate happenstance here in the first game of day number 2. You know, this is the lower bracket. It's your final chance to try and make regionals, and it's unfortunate to have some form of issue keeping you from playing the game you'd like to play. It does suck.
So, improvised 1v1 continues.
Let's see it, Alec.
Alex Storm.
I am convinced. That's a Batmobile flick and a half right there.
Yeah. A completely pointless flick. That's the most Batmobile I've ever seen it.
Oh, they give him one?
Azraeli's going to go for it and got the ball into the net. You see, here's the real question.
Yeah, what's that?
If Ducks score 2 more, do they continue with the honor, or is this honor only sticking for as long as this is a victory?
I think this is honor that sticks only until victory is not assured.
Well, I believe I've just seen it in the other chat. They've agreed to the 1v1. This is a 1v1 broadcast now. I like this.
This is not my forte. I think in my total time in Rocket League, I've played maybe 50 games of 1v1.
Really?
Maybe.
I was a ones player much longer ago.
You played SARP. You're allowed to be a ones player.
But I'm so bad at it now.
But it's okay.
I'm so bad at it now.
It's like SARP was the 1v1 playground. That's why I thought Prime Thunder was a SARP guy for the longest time, because he played SARP.
Oh, wow. This is going to be Relly. 2-3. And now the question is double fold. Number 1, can he make the comeback? Number 2, will he be allowed to make the comeback?
That's the big question. I mean, I think once it gets even, I think they continue to 2v2 until they put another one in the net. Then they go back to 1v1. It's like, this is a tournament. I know there's no mercy, but there is...
So the good news is, though, is that one's games always have more goals.
Yes, they do, and this is going to be another one for Relly.
All right, here's the go. Heroes. Real test for you right now.
Do they continue to 1v1? We shall get to see it here after this
I've
kickoff.
got like my fingers sort of shaking
Yeah.
over here.
Is that the
Oh.
the Shogun senses? They're tingling. You ready to go? Oh, he's
Alpha's back, and
He's
we got
back.
a 3-0. You know what? Somehow, some way, this has sort of worked out perfectly.
You know, there's 2 minutes on the clock. It's just a 2-minute game of 2v2. It's your 2-minute drill for Rocket League.
So, I mean, hats off no matter what here for Heroes.
Yeah,
Very sportsmanlike of them.
for sure. If they lose this game number one, I
maybe
think,
they could have been a little bit better at 1v1s. Alpha, got 41 boost to his name. He's got his neighbor's controller in his hands.
Ooh, does he
And
have
he's got
it?
the setup for Rally. There's 4-3. 90 seconds remaining.
And kind of out of nowhere, you're thinking Ducks might take this. That's the best part. I mean, they just get beat out of the corner here. It's a quick toss right across the box. And
Do you know what the worst part is right now? We're going to come out of this game. Ons is going to look at us and ask us to analyze it. And I don't know what I'm going to say to him.
be like, well, Relly's pretty good at a 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, he's solid. Oh, wow.
Ooh, okay.
Speaking of solid, Alex.
I wonder why this one didn't get saved. Alpha's going up around the back wall, realizes he's beat. That's a great air roll and a nice hard turn of the stick to get that ball all the way across the pitch. Really got a lot of power on that despite coming across the ball. So Alex just hit it just hard enough, and Alpha kind of tied himself up coming off the wall there. Not the cleanest departure.
Relly, after being shown mercy earlier on, decides to eliminate one of his opponents. Alpha keeps it going. Still a tied game at the moment, 4-4. Alex, 0 boost. He's got no way of getting this up on his hood, but Relly doesn't know anything about that. There's the Batmobile flick. Might have just set it up. Alex takes his time. Might have actually had the ball go past him. He's not on target, but needs to be very careful with what he does here. Relly,
Does
off
he
the
have
backboard. Tap straight back down to Alpha, 5-4. We're on our way to a 10-goal game.
Yeah, Heroes of Tomorrow both kind of caught a little flat-footed. Elaine couldn't get high enough. That's a solid double touch. Alec, I don't think, respecting that option, was ready to go catch that one off the net and just punt that away downfield, and he got a little bit of a surprise, really, with a solid catch, and Alpha, noticing the, fairly obvious misplay on defense, takes full advantage.
Oh, if there's ever been an unpredictable game, this is the one. And we got one more turn.
It's been the exact opposite of Freestyle O'Clock.
Yes, it has. Alex, straight back over to Aelin. It's going to be Alpha Kep back out. 20 seconds now. Heroes of Tomorrow need one more opportunity. That is not going to help. Relly, straight over the top.
Put it in?
Alpha Kep off the backboard. And Relly does commit. He's going to secure the game. Ducks on Quack. As long as they leave out some information when they talk about this to friends and never say that there was a broadcast, they won a tournament game 2v1 for the most part.
They did win a tournament game 2v1. As the power of the half-truth is is quite something. But I think Dodger and Alec are going to be, honestly, I don't know if they're going to be upset or not. I think they're going to be kind of okay with the outcome. You got to own what you said. They went for the 1v1 and they lost it. They'll be like, all right.
Sometimes a match is just so out of the ordinary that it just doesn't affect you.
Exactly. And it really is. Does it throw them for a loop? Who knows? It's like, imagine like all this pressure, hey, we're going to go play on Universal Open broadcast. It's a lower bracket. It's the first game of the day. And it all just like grinds to a halt in the first 10 seconds. And it's like, wait, what? And it really might throw you off just a little bit.
So,
I swear, on set.
I'm getting ready.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
Yes.
How you doing? You all right? You good?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, yeah.
Break that one down for us. That was a strange one, wasn't it? I'm not going to ask you that. I mean, it was a strange start, but some beautiful, quite heartwarming showmanship, sportsmanship shown by the guys on Heroes of Tomorrow. I mean,
I feel really bad
it's a
right
lovely
now.
thing to see, and it's something that I would imagine if me and Shogun were playing together in a tournament, which, let's be honest, in itself is a stretch of an idea, we would have absolutely decimated that.
I don't care about my reputation.
Exactly. I've got one to destroy anymore.
I will take an angry tweet at me for the win, okay? A capital W next to my name is worth way more than your respect.
All the reply to the tweet is needed, isn't it? Can't believe you did that. Just reply with W.
Do you see the scoreboard?
Hold that L.
Hold that L. But I mean,
the L.
it is Ducks on Quack who eventually managed to secure the win, and as you say, it was an interesting game in the fact that it was still set up when we had both players back on the pitch and being able to function fully. We'll say after that, what we're going to presume is a controller problem. It was a fair result in the end. The 2v2 part of the game did end up going the way of Ducks on Quack, and they kind of looked to pick up from where they left off yesterday.
Yeah, actually, as soon as Alpha kind of got himself settled back into the pitch, it was a pretty clean. I didn't really feel like Alec and Dodger could really do too much, which was also kind of weird. I was expecting them to hold their own a little bit better on defense, and I think they kind of realized what they're up against, and they said, okay, hang on, and they're definitely going to be a little bit more. This is what they can do in game number 2, I think.
Well, one thing that we should remind everyone at home is although it was an interesting and unpredictable first game, we did have 10 goals scored, so No Mercy was in some ways still a thing, still applied, as you say. And that means that obviously there'll be 100 meals donated to the World Food Programme over in the United States, thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent. Once again, if you want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. A fantastic cause. So 10 goals in our first game. I mean, a great way to start. We said that the record yesterday couldn't be beaten. But we've said that a few times now, so it's quite possible with a start like that might happen. But game number 2, gentlemen, it's difficult to say, what do these teams need to change. This is kind of, for me, the first real game of the series where we're going to get a real indicator of how both these teams are going to play.
Yeah, it's kind of just a rehash of, well, what are you expecting? Well, I'm thinking Alpha Cap and Relly's kind of come out here and, play how they played yesterday, and we're saying, I wonder what Heroes does, because now you get a full 5 minutes of it. And it's
we actually get to learn something now, don't we?
Yeah, the only thing that I sort of did see there that I kind of like a little bit more of is I'd like to see Heroes of Tomorrow sort of nailing their flicks a little bit more. A lot of them have been somewhat pointless. They're not either hitting off the backboard or really troubling a defense. Every single time they're flicking, they're either failing the flick and it's just sort of drooping next to them, or it's just directly up into the air. They've got to be a lot more critical with how they're using this, because if you flick badly, you've given up all possession, and you've used a lot of boost usually just to get yourself in a good position to do the flick.
I'll be interested to see what happened to our first game as well. Hopefully, Allegiance and Vape Noise are both able to continue in the tournament as well. We'll keep you up to date, of course, at home with what's going on with those teams as soon as we hear something. But game number 2, the best of 5s. I mean, yesterday we saw a lot of best of 5s because obviously we had some incredibly close.
We saw 2, yeah.
We saw 2 best of 5s. Do you think that we're going to see more game
Day 2,
5s today?
I think
I'm trying to
one.
predict the future a little bit here.
Yes.
The desk today,
I think we see at least one, yeah.
At least one. What about you, Shaggy?
Today, I'm the positive part of me, that big, says yes, but the overwhelming negative side of me says I don't see it happening today, no.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we're still waiting to get into our game number 2. We'll get it to you as soon as we possibly can. Still might be a slight technical issue, obviously, with that controller disconnect. And it can affect you little things like that, can't it? When you go into a game and you're not sure if your controller's going to work, when you go back in, it's like...
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that can happen? I was playing the other day and my bumper broke. Have you ever had that on your controller?
Actually, yes.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, that's actually
it
why
pops off in like such a it's almost laughing at you. It's just like
you're not wrong.
Like, all right, cool.
It is actually the worst. That's why I bought PS4 after that. Couldn't hang.
Well, there you go. Here we go then. Game number 2 underway, gentlemen.
I'm going for the Power Glove as my next controller.
Ooh.
It's Relly looking to try and power himself across the field. Alpha Cap. His ball control's actually been very good recently, but he doesn't need any ball control for that one. That is just pure power.
Yeah, Alec, he's straight. Dodger, sorry. They both have names that start with A, and Dodger only has 11 boost in the net there. Just can't quite get high enough. Unfortunate. And Alpha, they take that approach that we were maybe expecting a little bit of EG yesterday and say, hey, save this one. And the Heroes couldn't that time.
Alex Storm. That's a much better flick, I think, but needs to be doing it a little bit closer. There's no way you're going to get it past Relly. Let's get that pass off. Alpha Cap straight over the top yet again, and Alpha is just constantly the transition guy, and there's no one back to stop him.
Yeah, actually, Dodger went up for that challenge up at the top of the blue box. Used a lot of boost to do it as well, and then ended up getting the ball just stolen away from him. Resulted in that really slow rotation on the way back. Alec got beat in the midfield because he hadn't quite landed yet either. It was just a freebie all the way for Ducks.
Fake kickoff. Alpha Cap keeping it under his own control. And then removed from the field of play.
Nice
Dodger
try.
off the side. He's got 2 players committed, but Alex just not there. Goes for another one off the post, off the crossbar, I should correct myself.
I do that all the time. I call the crossbar the post half the time, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
what
but
are you talking about?
I'm English, okay?
Yeah.
I am not allowed to be getting that wrong.
Yeah, you don't get the excuse.
Yes. 2 players. This time, Dodger and Alpha, both going for that one. Alec just trying to find some way around. This might be over the top. Really there in time. The follow-up shot shut down by Alpha Cap. Here's a tomorrow. I'd prefer to see that one played up the backboard. It's a much safer route if you want to try and get yourself away. Alpha Cap.
Oh, nice fake. Good reaction by Dodger, though. But I've been watching from Dodger's perspective a lot of the time, and kind of in general, Heroes of Tomorrow seem to have this kind of disjointed approach to offense. A lot of times they'll only have one person pushing up, the other has to go back and grab boost, and it's just not this very well-coordinated push forward on offense. There's one thing that you really need in 2v2 or 3v3. It's both or all players ready to go up on offense.
Off there. Rally. Push into the corner. This might be Heroes of Tomorrow. Big opportunity. There's the shot taken. Too much of an angle, though, to nail.
It's got to leave.
Alpha Cap. Yet another great challenge. He really has been the transition guy for Ducks on Quack. Oh, there's a double miss. Rally. Just sort of watching the chaos happen in front of him. And Alex Storm just there in time. Heroes of Tomorrow will not want to go down by another one. They might have a choice, but there's the double commit. And then Dodger gets completely sliced up by his teammate.
Heroes really got away with that one. Alpha and Relly had a pretty much free net, and they just punched it off the back wall. Unfortunate for him, but either way, they're really commanding this game. Dodger and Alec just a couple strange positioning mishaps, getting a little bit too far forward, not quite in the position to react to a touch that the Ducks are throwing at him. And Dodger fake challenge there and really needs a lot of help here from Alec to buy him some time.
Demo does come through. So tap down, Alpha, once again, that person that's just holding onto the ball for as long as possible, really doing a lot of the damage.
Well placed.
And that is going to be his hat trick. Ducks on Quack, just dominating in this game.
Yeah, Elaine rotating back in the midfield, and this is just a perfectly placed ball to the far post. Alec just can't reach it, and Dodger's too far away in the midfield, so Alpha just noticing where in the net's open, and you know, it's all a matter of do you finish it or not, and he nails it.
Alpha's entire hat trick coming from the midfield. Just sort of tells us a little bit about the Heroes of Tomorrow defense. Just so far up, and I do have to agree with your Chiefs when it comes to them being disjointed.
Yeah, they're just spread out.
It seems to me like there's a lack of danger awareness. They're not quite sure what can go past them and what can't.
Well, I've also kind of noticed that sometimes the boost pathing is just slightly off. Like, they rotate to go grab boost, and they miss it by just a couple pixels. And it just causes them to take a couple extra seconds or maybe even divert themselves and their attention all the way to another 100 boost pad. And it's just taking them out of position a lot of the time.
Nice little takeaway there. Alex Storm. Challenge once again. This really has been Ducks on Quack's main strategy so far. Just allow Heroes of Tomorrow to bring the ball out of the corner, and then they'll go and challenge, try and open themselves up some spots. Turn around. Alpha off the backboard, looking for his fourth. Get it taken away.
Nice touch.
And Dodger.
Oh, they cut his teammate off. He doesn't have boost.
Second time this game that has happened. The follow-up eventually there, but it's too late. Alpha Cap keeping that one out of the net. Heroes of Tomorrow, they've had not many opportunities, but the ones that they have been absolute sitters.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a breakdown of communication there out of the midfield. Dodger just thinks he can get in himself and unfortunately doesn't have the boost to finish the job, and he ends up cutting off Alex Storm, who had it for free.
Rally. Didn't quite get the flick off, but he's getting a second opportunity. Who's stolen? Final 15 seconds. This game will be going over to Ducks. Heroes of Tomorrow. They got to try and find some answers to this right now, but it just doesn't quite seem like they've turned up just yet.
Yeah, really, it's not too hard to... Oh, wow, they got that one. Okay. I thought they were just going to let it fall, but, you know, Relly decides to feed Alpha his fourth of the day, and why not? It's a solid pass up to the top of the box.
Wait, is it? Oh, it's a doink. It's a proper doink.
It's a proper one. I agree with that. But a nice finish to game number 2 for the Ducks. And, you know, it's like I was saying, it's not too hard to really pick apart what was happening there for Heroes. It's just, it's, you know, I like to say it's good to have a wide spread of the field. The problem is they have this wide spread of the field and no boost to close the gap when they need to. So it's a pretty simple fix, honestly. It's, you know, collect the boost pads and you'll be okay.
They're going to have to do that because they're now down 2-0 in the series and they're facing elimination. Not exactly the time to have to realise something and fix it very, very quickly. But as we go into the replays of that game number 2, it was pretty much domination, to be honest, from you with Ducks on Quack. Picking up on the way that they finished yesterday. And AlphaKep, I mean, what a performance from him.
He's just really... Every single time he gets the ball in the midfield, there seems to be an early challenge from Heroes of Tomorrow. But you're not supposed to challenge early unless you know you're going to win. The main role as the man back after one of your teammates has just challenged is you hold them off. You go and fake a challenge, you turn your back to them, you waste as much time so you can get someone back to come and help out, but they're not doing that right now. And AlphaKep has just been too good for them in the midfield where they're passing that final person, easily scoring.
And a beautiful doink to end things off for
Clean,
Chiefs. We
fresh.
love to see it. We do love to see a doink. But I mean, it's an uphill battle now for Heroes of Tomorrow. You know, they haven't shown enough for me to show that they're going to pull off a reverse sweep in this. Obviously, you know, you can see them taking a game or so, but to win 3 on the bounce now, you just feel like it's a little bit too much of an ask.
I'm skeptical. I'm honestly thinking 3-0 here. It's just AlphaKep and Relly have just looked dominating out of the midfield. The timing, the spacing has been so much better. They've challenged the ball properly, and Dodger and Alec just haven't really got too much going for them, honestly. Except that. Okay.
Well, I asked for it earlier on. I wanted myself some proper Batmobile flicks. That right there was the proper Batmobile flick. You delayed it so slightly, allowed it to reach the back end of the car, and really just nailed it into the side.
You know, what if this is the ultimate sandbag, Shogun? Flub the 1v1, play poorly in game 2, and then just rock them 3 games in a row.
I've heard of just sort of flopping for a little while as more of a fencing technique to let people get too comfortable. Never heard of it as a Rocket League technique.
No, man, Flipside likes to lose. How's that for a callback?
You know what? That actually almost convinces me the other way. That was a strong counter-argument there, Achieves. All the way back out. Relly.
Nice
Shot is not going to be on, but the follow-up almost was.
I thought that was off the inside of the post and in.
Like that's pure optimism right there. It's never off the inside. It always bounces back out.
Every time.
Relly, back out. Alex Storm would be by himself. Need to put that one a bit higher, though. Just Relly maintaining the pressure. They're looking to try and pull this out of the corner now. 1-0 to Heroes of Tomorrow.
Ooh. They didn't even challenge that. Alpha just had free reign to shoot that.
And they're still not.
They're still not. Alpha's just driving around the front of the net saying, are you going to challenge? No? Okay, thank you. And he just puts the ball in the back of the net.
I think the low boost is...
For sure.
I had to sort of use your computer to try and find that one out. But there was no boost on Heroes of Tomorrow, but at least look like you do. You know, go towards it. I think Alpha even knew, due to the lack of motion on Heroes of Tomorrow, that he could just do what he wanted. AlphaKep has had half a game less, and I believe he scored at least 1 game more than everyone else on the pitch. As Relly looking for the pass, but Alpha too central. Now with the top, Relly. Trying to control the ball.
Nice demo.
Won't be able to do that anymore. Is AlphaKep already there for the clear? Another flick up.
Ooh, he almost got that bump.
Dodger just can't quite get there in time. Relly. He's going to be able to pick up that mid boost as well. He's got AlphaKep as an infield option, but he's going to be off the backboard. No follow-up around. Relly really is just hounding away at them over in this corner. I don't know how much boost he's got.
Currently 100. He just picked up midfield, but he had 0. He was just looking important.
That's half the battle.
It honestly is. That's the crazy part. It's a real art, looking like you're in command of the ball when you've got no boost on a dribble, Shogun.
Oh, there's going to be another flick, and 2 of them now. Alex Storm has picked up his 2nd flick goal, and this is now starting to turn into a real danger.
Yeah, he had some space to work with there in the midfield. Alpha kind of gave it to him. He didn't want to rush the challenge out of the midfield just in case he got beat and give away a free one. Gave up a little bit of space, and Alex just with a quick little small type figure S, and he just quick flicked it right into the top corner.
So many players out there that say the Batmobile is the most difficult car out there to predict. Pretty much is correct at the end of the day. He's going to have yet another opportunity. Takes it to the side this time. So Heroes of Tomorrow have got themselves the lead yet again, showing us a lot more now of their credentials to keep this going and keep their spot in the tournament. Remember, the loser of this is out. You've already had your first opportunity. There's going to be Alpha. And Heroes of Tomorrow, they're not going to get away with that too many more times. Need to be very careful with where they push the ball.
They're really trying to make sure they keep control of these midfield boosts, because that's where a lot of the pressure has been coming from Reli and Alpha. It's just forcing them into only having access to those corner boosts is such a hindrance on defense. And I think Alec and Elaine are kind of realizing that, you know, those two are really important.
Alpha Cap. Back over to the corner. Still needing a goal. No time for it, hello. That's Reli. Just waiting to see what Dodger is going to do.
Oh, does he have it? Oh, that's beautiful.
It's going to be the follow-up touch, but there's Reli. Wins the challenge. He's got an opportunity to take the shot. Did he get contact to that one? I'm not overly sure.
Who?
Reli, as he tried to follow up his own wall touch.
Couldn't tell you because I was behind the plate looking at Alec's perspective.
It's going to be Dodger back up again. He's going to leave
Nice
it, and that
placement.
is going to be a hat trick. Heroes of Tomorrow, this is a much slower paced game, but it is working for them as they are finding their opportunities and making them stick.
Yeah, that's just a perfectly placed ball. Again, that Batmobile able to come around from the opposite end of the ball, get plenty of power going to the far post, and it's a perfect shot from Alex Storm. And, you know, they look good when they're ready to go on offense. When they're both up there and ready to, you know, put a sequence together in front of the blue net, they look pretty good.
It's going to be Alex once again, unchallenged in the midfield. This time he's just going to try and force some boost out from Reli. Very smart idea. You've got a 2-goal lead. You've got only a minute. Might as well waste every single second you can.
Risky challenge there from Alex Storm.
I think
He missed
Alex
that
has
one.
just gone for the tried and true. We're 2 games down. I'm just going to go for it.
Just going to go for it. I mean, it's worked out so far. He's getting pieces of these challenges, and that's the big thing. It's wasting a lot of time.
Reli with the control. Just a little bit too heavy on that first touch. Can't take it the entire length of the pitch. Alpha Cap is the final one back. They got to make something of this one right now. But Heroes of Tomorrow holding both players back. There is very few ways out. They'll be fine just to stay around here. That's pretty poor contact. And Alex once again. Ball on his hood. Let's see if he can do it again. Not quite. But as we wind down the clock on this game, this is a worry right now for Ducks on Quack. Because Alex Storm is definitely the target man. He is carrying that ball, and he is doing damage with it.
Yeah, I think you actually hit the nail right on the head. He's definitely been commanding in terms of the dribble game, and he's done a fairly much more bang-up job than he did in game number 1 in the 1v1 scenario. So good to see him get a little bit more of a handle, especially with you asking for more flicks. You got plenty here in game number 3, and it worked out pretty well. And also, now that they got a little bit more coordination on offense. I think they had 2 assists out of their 3 goals, so a little bit more substance to the attack, and it worked out well for them.
I was about to say, you must be a happy man right now, Shogun. You were asking for flicks, and Alex Storm delivered in style in that one, especially that first goal that we saw, a fantastic finish from him. And the Batmobile, as you say, unpredictable and causing problems here for the guys on Ducks on Quack.
Yeah, it really is a case of he's getting in the midfield, and Ducks on Quack are
He's not challenged.
They're completely unwilling to challenge at this point in time. Even when they've got 2 players back, they have sort of held back a little bit too much for my taste. But if you are Heroes of Tomorrow, you take that opportunity and you're going to keep running with it. How long until it gets figured out? I think it's going to be pretty much next game that they're just going to shut him down. But that was very encouraging for them.
Well, I think it's kind of how Reli and Alpha tend to approach challenges in general, because on offense, whenever you'd see a Heroes player go and challenge them, they'd really just, fake that first challenge and let Heroes hit it off their own car and then just keep going in whatever direction they were going. They're a very patient team, however they like to challenge the ball. And I think they're, again, trying to apply that pressure and patience in the same aspect on defense as well. They're willing to give a little bit of space because they're confident in their ability, and I think they realize that, okay, maybe not the way to go on defense, because it's worked out pretty well for them on offense, and I think kind of in that game number 3, they were like, okay, Not the same approach on defense. Got it.
I'm starting to have flashbacks though from yesterday. Allegiance, we were like, oh, the first two games, they look really dominant. They should be easy. And then all of a sudden, things changed, and that was a similar feeling in that game number 3 there. Like you said a little bit, it was like, okay, we're down by 2, we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
But that mentality sometimes can kind of shock you into spark you back into life a bit.
Yeah, I think it was just because it was a slower game that it really helped out overall. They're gonna have an opportunity right now to maintain that momentum. Or lack of it. I actually would prefer Heroes of Tomorrow to keep this as a lower-paced game. But that is going to be some fantastic passing plays. And for Ducks, that is the perfect start.
Yeah. That was Elaine. Just kind of rushes this challenge in the midfield. I think he might have thought somebody was going to be challenging him there on the sidewall, and he was just trying to make sure that they held onto the ball. Fortunately, he got to it a little bit too early. Just punched it right off the side. And Alpha, who went for the kickoff, was just waiting there in the midfield as he went to collect that boost. And as they say, really sauced him with the pass.
Alex Storm off the backboard. It's going to be Elaine's opportunity. Another shot, but that's right down the middle. His teammate is starting to rotate out. Back down to the middle. Elaine tried to force a challenge out from Relly, but that didn't quite happen. Shooting opportunity now, but Relly once again. Plenty of double saves from him so far today. Just over the top, 1-0 still. Ducks on Quack just trying to shake away that previous loss. Try and resume business as normal. Alex Storm might just made a huge mistake there, but we'll be happy to see that the shot coming towards Elaine was not all that dangerous.
Still very patient challenges on defense from Alpha Cap and Riley. They're willing to let Alec and Elaine take the first touch just to see what it is.
There's going to be another shot, and that could be an own goal. Heroes of Tomorrow just catch each other out there with a double commit. And then there ain't no one here. Well, apart from the own goal.
Oh, man. I mean, you can't really fault Alec too much. He was really expecting Dodger to come across net and clear that one out. And he was just rotating into net. And he goes, oh, wait, he didn't get it. Oh, and it's off my hood. Unfortunate.
What is it with Batmobiles and own goals recently in competitive Rocket League?
There's been a couple.
So 2-0 now. Still plenty of match left to play. Alpha Cap for the one up high. Elaine should do something with this, but that is wasteful. Bounces straight back down. Alex Storm beat, and this is how Alpha Cap was scoring all his goals earlier. He's going to pick up another one here. That's a hat-trick, and that's less than 2 minutes taken.
Yeah, just trying to get something going early on in terms of getting back into the game from the Heroes of Tomorrow's perspective. They went for that aggressive challenge, and unfortunately, they got beat. It's free. Gates wide open, Shogun.
The danger right now for Heroes of Tomorrow is the fact that they've got no choice but to keep going for those aggressive plays. They've got to keep some sort of pace up now. And Alpha kept scoring as many midfield goals as he has been so far. He's just going to get more and more dangerous.
He's got 9 goals in the series so far.
Off the backboard. Alpha Cap. All the way back now is Elaine. That might be a good chance, but Alpha Cap is already there. He's got double tap as well, just to get over to the side. Rally will be the passing option. So you want to hold yourself facing inwards from the far side. This is the big opportunity to get back in the game. It has to be hit. And Dodger will hit it.
It's a heads-up play out of the midfield from Alex Storm here. Just realizing he's got a demo opportunity. Relly and Alpha Cap in the same spot on the pitch, kind of crowding that midfield boost, and a little bit of lack of awareness. And they both kind of crowd the same spot. And Alex says, hey, one of you's free.
So down to 2. Boost is taken by Alex. Alpha Cap. He's on that transition again. Almost managed to sort something out for, I believe it would be like the 6th time so far this series. Dodger to the corner. Relly back out. Danger zone still. That Batmobile has been so dangerous. That first touch was always rolling away. Back down again. Dodger. You start approaching these with a little bit more confidence.
Ooh.
Demo.
Alex on the demo hunt.
But Alpha has just kept this so close to both his car and the wall. It's going to be hard to create anything. Follow up. Relly uses that recently demoed boost to get himself back over, but now he's out of it. Dodger off the backboard. Relly, this might just be excruciating for him to watch go in, but instead, no one around from Heroes of Tomorrow. just too far away from them.
So patient from Relly. He's got no boost, and that one, fortunately, off the post. But again, they keep that patient play that's been working for them all day. They don't mind sitting and watching that first touch, and so far it's worked out well here in Game 4.
Alpha Storm. Alex Storm, actually.
I know,
First to
right?
force the challenge. I mean, I quite like that name, okay?
Yeah?
Renaming myself when I get home.
Oh,
Because that's
what
going
a
to be
shot.
just on target. 3 goals re-established as the lead. And Ducks on Quack could be on to the next round.
Yeah, perfect read here out of the midfield from Relly. Sees where the challenge coming from Alex Storm, starts floating over to that side, and at that point it's just execution. Make sure you get it on frame, and he does.
So Heroes of Tomorrow got to try and find themselves some way through. Dodger will be getting the boost over in the far side of the field. Relly just trying to waste away some time now. Ducks on Quack on the verge, heading through to the next round, which point they will be one more series away by progressing to Thursday, our final day of broadcasting for the Central region. Corner again. Alex Storm just tried to find a way past Relly. And Heroes of Tomorrow really throwing everything at this right now, but could be very much too little too late. Gotta create something right here, the flick. Just over the top of Relly, but he will still be there in time, and that's not going to be good enough. Just continue to throw the dice, see if they can get something.
Should be a gentle cruise for Alpha and Relly.
It really has been towards the end of this game.
Because, I mean, Alec and Dodger, you know they're going to have to rush these touches. And again, with that patient approach to all of these challenges, they're just going to keep driving further back, and they know they're going to be trying to push it upfield, and it should be easy to just kick it out to the side, and it'll be a free one here for the final second.
So, a very mature performance in game number 4 from Ducks on Quack. They take the loss in game number 3, and they come back in game number 4 just pretending like it never happened.
That's the funny thing, too, is like they didn't do what I thought they would do at all. Like, they didn't take, any proactive approach. They're like, look, sometimes you get beat with a good flick, and this time they didn't. And they took the exact same approach. They're like, all right, fine, bring the ball on our half. And then they slapped it out to the side, and they just won the game.
Well, they managed to win it, as you say, and they avoided any potential upset, potential Game 5s to start off the day. So a 3-1 win there for Ducks on Quack, continuing in the way that impressed us yesterday. So he gave the team they played in the upper bracket a very, very tight game. And this one here was, as you say, Shogun, a very mature performance from them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just look at this and just say, well, they just did what they needed to do. They didn't overcompensate, and once they had the lead, which they got pretty early, when you get a lead like that, 3 goals in the first 2 minutes, that completely changes the face of the game, because it's now all up to Heroes of Tomorrow. They have got to do all of it. They've got to really spread themselves out, and they're going to leave a lot more defensive openings. And you can focus on your defensive rotations. You're not forced to stretch yourself, so it's much easier for them just to see out the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I think that kind of unfortunate own goal there, that second goal from Ducks on Quack, really kind of open the door for that a little bit, because it extends that lead unintentionally, and all it does is just make you play even more aggressive, and I played quite well in how they wanted to approach the defense.
Well, that is going to do it for our game number 1, but just a reminder to everyone at home, there were 23 goals scored during that series, and thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, that means 230 meals will be going towards the World Food Programme USA. Of course, if you guys at home want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open and support what is a fantastic cause. So thank you once again for to the guys over at Soylent for their support in that. But now let's give you a quick brisk bracket update and let you know how that's affected everything, as well as some of the games we're going to have coming up a little bit later on. You can see there at the bottom of your screen, Ducks on Quack taking down Heroes of Tomorrow that we've just seen 3-1. The other games that we've got there are going to be alongside that, and we see Ducks on Quack waiting for the winner of Allegiance versus Vape Noise. So as soon as we can get those games started, we will. Gentlemen, it's looking very interesting. Ducks on Quack, one of those teams we were saying are going to be one of those sort of pitbull teams in that lower bracket that anyone dropping into is not going to want to go up against.
Yeah, them versus Allegiance would be a fun match to watch, I think. It'd be good to see them play, force EG to play how they want, and it'll be interesting to see if they play Allegiance, how Allegiance approaches that matchup as well.
Yeah, I think in terms stylistically, I think that definitely suits Allegiance, just because we haven't seen much, apart from the attempts to transition midfield from Alpha. I don't think there's much of a 1v1 challenging ability on the side of Dux on Quack in comparison to Allegiance. So what I was saying yesterday, that if Allegiance drop down, they're going to ruin someone's day.
that might
have been it.
That might well be it. Well, just a reminder to you guys at home, if you want to get in touch, use that hashtag UOS2 and tweet us in your tweets what you want to ask these guys. If you think that Allegiance are going to be upsetting some people as well, let us know. And of course, follow us over at Universal Open as well. But that's going to do it all for our game number 1 today. Game number 2 is going to be coming up just after the break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.